to the ride.
What's up, man? You on mute? What's going on? What's happening?
There we go. Thank you. Jeez. I don't know what's going on, but welcome to the Saturday Night WrestleManiacs. This is crazy here.
I mean, you know, if you're gonna leave me out there, I mean, I'd have said I don't know what to do. You know, I'm like, you know, where you at?
That wasn't done on purpose. I tell you that. Welcome to the Saturday Night WrestleManiacs, the mothership, the flagship of the Sideline Junkies podcast network. Sitting here with cigar, bourbon, and wrestling aficionado, the Nubian Sumo. I am the big guy KG. Welcome as we take you around the wrestling universe from pillar to post, as we always do every Saturday. The People's Choice Don Rodriguez is on special assignment tonight. And we get a first comment of the night, 613 Fade Productions, a.k.a. the Four Corner Boys. Let's go, fellas. What's happening? Glad y'all could join us tonight.
What's up, fellas? How y'all doing? Y'all picked a very good night to join us tonight because in less than 3 hours starts the greatest day the Lord has given us in a calendar year. The day that the Lord created the Nubian Sumo.
And I'm gonna be honest with you.
On this earth.
If I got to be honest about said day, I'm somebody that's thankful for that day. So I'm going to give you an early happy birthday, but I'm going to hit you up at 12 o'clock and tell you happy birthday. But I'm thankful for that day because couldn't imagine not talking wrestling with you. So how you feeling? I mean, I already know how you feeling, but how you feeling?
Doing all right. I'm doing all right. I can't complain.
That's good.
I mean, of course I could. There was a lot of things that's going on in life, but I'm glad to have made my 56th rotation around this earth. And you know, we're just gonna ride till the wheels fall off.
Amen to that. To start this thing off, got a little beef. So.
Yeah, you got a little something on you got a little something on your chest there, buddy.
I got something on my chest.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and release that pressure.
Without further ado, I'm KG and I got beef. Now, with that being said, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. I'm not one to sit around and allow somebody's career to be diminished when I watch their entire career. Okay. Now, for what it's worth, you cannot like Triple H. That's your business. I mean, I don't like the booking side right now, what he's doing with WWE, but that's my business. Just like it's a lot of us are like, but that's okay. When it comes to his place in wrestling history, let's not act like the dude was lost product. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this back up again, a gentleman on social media, I don't know if it was TikTok, Instagram, he was talking about Jay-Z's freestyle of the Roots Picnic. And he said Jay-Z is the Triple H of rap. Never really the man, but always close to the top. And I said, you know what? I think that's a not so fitting comparison. Because I agree, Jay-Z was never really the man. If you look at Jay-Z's entire career, was he top 5? Yeah, he was top 5, but he was never number 1. Okay? We can say that. We can all pretty much agree on that. When it comes to Hunter Hearst Helmsley, he did have a run where he was the guy. He was number 1. Now, if you want to get into it and you want to talk about the Attitude Era, he wasn't a big portion of the Attitude Era. He was. And I'm talking not just in DX. When Stone Cold and The Rock were vying for the Intercontinental Championship, who was the third man? It was Triple H. When they were vying for the WWF Championship at the time, who was the third man? It was Triple H. When The Rock went off to Hollywood to film probably the greatest one line in movie history, Haku Machete, and Stone Cold was out with neck surgery, who you think held WWF? Well, that was WWE at the time. Who you think held them down? Because The Undertaker was back and forth. It was Triple H. When Austin had to give it up permanently and The Rock permanently went to Hollywood, who you think held it down? It was Triple H. So he had a run where he was the man. Please, please, please stop this notion that he wasn't a top guy. He wasn't the guy at one point in time. So I don't like revisionist history when it comes to things that a younger generation, you weren't there to watch. You can only go off of what you see on video. I, as well as everybody in my generation that watched wrestling, we were there to watch it. We were there to witness what went on. We talk about the Attitude Era itself, like the generation before us talked about the good old days. So don't come on the social media calling somebody's career not that good, or they weren't that good when they wrestled, because the only reason why they're this is because they're married to so-and-so. It's not all of that. Like, come on, man, stop it. Please. It's not becoming, if you don't know wrestling, say you don't know wrestling. I'd rather you say that than you keep making these comparisons, saying that somebody wasn't the man when they had their time in the sun and it's over. Okay, it's good. We're good. I can't stand it. I can't stand it as a wrestling fan. I can't stand it as a Triple H fan. But that is my beef for the night. Sumo?
I can agree with you on a lot of that. I mean, when, like you said, when they started building up around that time, they needed somebody to be on the forefront. They went with Stone Cold, The Rock, and Triple H. When everybody started going off on their separate ways and doing what they needed to do, as far as film and getting hurt and all that whatnot, they went to Triple H. You know, I can't argue with your point. So, I mean, yeah, it's a valid point. For those that are out there that talk about how he may not be on top, or he wasn't the guy at one time, yeah, you might want to check the history on that one, because Dude was doing some big things around that time, and I mean, for him to come from where he came from, because I mean, he was at the lowest of lows after the curtain call. So he's the one that took the brunt of the curtain call.
Indeed.
So I mean, and it was in mud matches with the Godwins, and all these matches, second and third the card matches with whoever the mid card wrestlers that they decided to put him up against. He came up from the bottom, so. Yeah, y'all might want to check that if anybody that's talking about he wasn't the guy back in those days, because this is not true.
And that's what I try to explain to people. Oh no, well he wasn't this, but you have to remember, before The Rock became The Rock, he was Rocky Maivia. Before he was Rocky Maivia, remember he was Flex Kavana. Remember he was the blue chipper, and that gimmick didn't work. I remember a point in time when The Rock wasn't over. But you look back at it and you say, oh, The Rock was this and The Rock was that. At one point in time, the crowd used to chant, die, Rocky, die. Rocky sucks. Like, you don't remember that? Everybody had a point in their career where they weren't over. Now, I'll say this about Triple H. He had a rocket strapped to his back before the curtain call, because he was supposed to be the next one up. He was supposed to ascend faster. But everybody wants to say his ascent came from him being with Stephanie. And I don't like that. I had a long discussion a couple of months ago with the boss BJ about that. And I was like, dude, you realize they didn't get together until like 99? And I was like, Chyna said that herself. She was off. And then all of a sudden she found out about the storyline. She was cool with it. And then it became real. And then she was like, okay. And she had her own rise. But everybody thinks that Triple H had his rise because of Stephanie. But no, he was actually already on the rise before he even started dealing with Stephanie. And I hate when they take the career and they say, well, look who he's married. Look at the family he married into. That's why he has the success. Like, he didn't have success before he married into the family. Like, let's not do that. You're diminishing the hard work that he put in. I don't get it.
Yes, it's a hard sell. I mean, not that it doesn't hurt that he married into the McMahons, but I mean, I don't think that was what got him over, so to speak. I mean, he was doing what he needed to do to get over. He was doing what he needed to do to become the man. Married into the family just kind of, made his position a little bit more solid, but he was already there.
He had his nose up Vince's butt long before.
Right.
Long before. And
I mean, you got stories of where he wanted to go. He came to Vince and wanted to be in the production meetings and wanted to be in the writing meetings and wanted to be behind the scenes to see what happens back there. He made, that's how you make yourself relevant, by wanting to be want to know those types of things,
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, you can have good mic skills, you can be good in the ring, but what happens when you get hurt? What happens if you lose? What happens if you lose your career? What you got to fall back on?
True indeed.
At least if you know how to work a camera, or know how to put together a match, or put together a card, you got some kind of value within the company, So why not find out what the inner workings of the company? And that just puts you in a better light backstage with all the producers and everybody else, including Vince. So
I agree.
Why wouldn't you want to do that?
I was always told, when you work a job, the more you learn and the more you know, the harder it is for them to let you go. And the thing is, he actually caught lightning in the bottle with DX. Now, when DX was just him and Shawn Michaels, they were a cornerstone of the Attitude Era. Stone Cold was his anti-hero. The Rock, who was the baby face at the time before he went and switched to being a part of the corporation, those are your three cornerstones right there. And not to mention the Undertaker as well, because you had the Ministry of Darkness. Then when you combine the corporation and the Ministry of Darkness, you do realize Triple H is a part of the corporation. He still was having battles with The Rock. They didn't like each other on screen, but they had battles. I think everybody
sees they really like each other for real.
I heard different. I heard they actually really bang with each other, like wholeheartedly. But that's the thing that gets overshadowed when we talk Attitude Era. It's always Stone Cold versus The Rock, but nobody ever talks about The Rock versus Triple H. Nobody ever talks about Stone Cold versus Triple H. The Rock and Triple H had one of the best Intercontinental Championship matches with Mark Henry and China at ringside, because that took on another storyline on itself when they started dating, because that's how them two got together, because they were always going against each other. And then he found a fondness for China. And then she set him up to get caught. But I mean, you know, I love that storyline though. But they still got to get, that's when you started seeing China have bigger roles. She had more speaking and everything. What's crazy, nobody ever talks about that stuff. That's all forgotten and everything. You forget the hard work that Triple H put in to get to the point that he was at. It took him so long to ascend to the mountaintop, yes. But remember, he was, like you say, he was pushed down after the curtain call. Nobody ever talks about that. They just think that automatically, oh, he got with Stephanie, all of a sudden now he's been a champion 14 times. No. I don't understand. We got a library, you got YouTube, you got all these things where you can go back and you can watch all these matches. And you can watch every match. I'm gonna say from 96. Let's say from 96 to 2002. You can watch every Triple H match. But you'll swear up and down that he didn't get popular until he got with Stephanie. No. I don't like it.
Yeah, well, you know, revisionist history, you know, it is what it is. You know, folks got to want to know, you know.
Yeah. I'm one if this Hollywood T. He said that's true with Jay-Z, not with Triple H though. Well, Jay-Z, we all, I'm glad that somebody agrees with me, but we all know Jay-Z was never the man in rap. He was always somewhere close to the top, but never at the top. Everybody always had a run over him. But Triple H, he had his run. He had a little moment in his career where he was actually the man, and it came at the time where everybody was just gone. Undertaker was out. Rock was making movies. Stone Cold was done. This is probably around the time that Stone Cold was making The Condemned. Great movie, by the way. But, I mean, he had his time. Yeah, it's Hollywood. All right, I got you. But he said, I agree. The hate with Triple H is weird. But it comes and it goes. And I'll never understand, why does it matter who he married? That's the crazy thing. Why does it matter?
Well, I mean, you got a lot of people who marry into money, marry into position. I mean, you can't deny there are folks out here who find the right person, get into get into their profession or get into their parents' profession, and become big. You know, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you got a lot of wrestlers out here that have married into their bosses into their bosses' families.
Let me ask you this. See, because I know you remember this. Remember when the corporation, before they joined the corporate ministry, Vince had took some time off. So Shane was running the corporation. And he would make it so no matter what happened, Triple H kept that belt. It was a particular night on SmackDown. And Shane seemed to be, it was a boil over from Raw. Something happened on Raw, and Shane was supposed to be kind of upset with Triple H. And he told him he was going to have a match with that bald head SOB. And, you know, Triple H is like, no, not tonight, no. And then the music comes on, and it's Gilbert. And then Gilbert goes out there, spears him 3 times, and get ready to jackhammer. And, you know, of course, Triple H wakes up, hits him with the running knee, gives him the pedigree, puts him out 1, 2, 3. But they had a laugh about it. People don't remember Triple H and China were in Shane's inner circle long before he started dealing with Stephanie. That's what I'm talking about. This is the stuff that's missing. It's like, I don't get it.
Wasn't it Shane? Was it Shane or was it Vince that gave Triple H the big gold when Brock Lesnar had the WWE Undisputed title and went to SmackDown and said he wasn't going to defend it outside of SmackDown?
I want to say
Vince, or was that Shane?
I want to say it was Vince. Let me find out, because that's crazy. I do remember that, but he was already in that inner circle.
Yeah, he was already up there, you know, because it was like, well, since Brock doesn't want to defend the title on Raw, then we need a champion. So we bringing back the World Heavyweight Championship, and we giving the title to Triple H.
Well, actually,
he was supposed to defend because he was supposed to defend it. I think he was supposed to defend it against Triple H on Raw, but he said he wasn't going to do it. He said he was only going to defend his title on SmackDown.
It was Eric Bischoff instead.
Oh, that was Bischoff.
That was Bischoff.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why I thought it was Shane. Or I thought it was a McMahon that did it.
I thought it was Shane.
It was.
I thought I remembered it being Shane, but okay.
And he said, yeah, but he didn't marry into position. No, he didn't. That's the thing with this hate. They're saying that because he's with Stephanie is why he has the career. That's why he's the head of WWE right now. And it's like, nah. Really and truly, the reason why he's the head is because Vince got bought out. Linda works for the U.S. government as the head of the Department of Education. Him and Stephanie are running the show. Shane don't want no parts of it because he want to do his own thing. And what else do you have? Now, if this was Stephanie running it by herself, somebody would have a problem with that. So it's going to be a problem regardless. But the simple fact that you have a McMahon sitting on the board, I see no beef with it. Now, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Stephanie the driving force behind Evolution? The pay-per-view?
Are you talking about the women's pay-per-view? Yeah. Yep. Yeah, she was. I believe Triple H was against it, wasn't he?
I don't know about that.
He said, I remember in an interview him saying that, you know, because when they first started talking about it. Oh, you said Triple H was the driving force? No, I remember an interview where he was saying that, yeah, it would be a good thing to have it, but it wasn't really necessary because the women were so prominently focused on in the other shows already that they didn't really need a show like that. But I do remember him saying that. Now, if he was now he had to have been behind it at some point, to some degree for it to happen. So, and I would think Stephanie would be the one who was like the head cheerleader on that one.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he had to back it to some degree.
And Anthony said, I think people are not used to see the man sleep his way to the top. It's usually the other way around as the stereotype goes. And I think people are hating on Paul because look at Mark Calloway, what Mark Calloway is doing in AAA with the booking over there. What are you doing with the booking over there?
He's running AAA.
Really?
Yeah, he's the one. He is the Shawn Michaels of AAA.
Jeez.
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, when they bought out AAA, one of the first things they did was put Undertaker as the booker, as the guy over there.
Jeez.
And they're attributing a lot of the success with AAA right now, the way it's going, on the Undertaker.
Well, I guess he had to do something because everybody. I haven't even seen clips from his podcast, so I haven't seen any new clips from his podcast. Everybody been dogging his podcast something terrible when they changed his format.
Yeah, there was a lot of flack when he dropped his host.
Yeah,
and WWE took it over and added it to their podcast network, and then brought in Michelle McCool as his host. So a lot of people and he came out and was like, "Well, if you don't like it, you don't have to watch it. But it is what it is."
Please tell me you've seen the dude that does the review, and he like Michelle McCool. He be like, what did he say? I was riding down the road with Bret Hart, and she was like, "Oh no, Mark, nobody wants to hear that story. We had eggs this morning for breakfast." It's like every time he started telling the story, she jumps in with something else, and it's like, oh my God. But if it works for him, it works for him. He lost a lot of people when he came out and he got super political. Him and Kane got together and became super political. That's when he lost a lot of people.
Well, yeah, Kane is MAGA to his heart. So
yep.
And I mean,
that's what he said about the second one. The second evolution. But that's my beef for the night. I mean, it's just like, go back and do the research before you start hating. That's all I'm saying. Just do the research before you start hating. Speaking of hate, this ain't no beef on my ear or on me. It seems like a lot of people got their panties in the bunch, their boxes in a row, because Mick Foley showed up on AEW and said that he wants to have his final match on AEW TV.
And nice segue, Hollywood.
Perfect segue. Perfect. That was something else. We all know why Mick Foley, Mankind, Cactus Jack, Dude Love, why he wants to be on AEW TV, because he got out of his Legends contract with WWE because of their ties to MAGA, the sitting president. He did not agree with it and all of that. So people
Oh,
are saying,
and happy birthday to Mick Foley. His birthday's tomorrow too.
oh wow, a hardcore legend and a hardcore legend share a birthday.
me, Mick Foley, Allen Iverson. I don't know if you remember Anna Kournikova, the tennis star from back in the
Mm-hmm.
day. Fetty Wap. Yeah, it's a few of us. It's a few of them. Birthday tomorrow. Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Um, People are saying he sold out because he's showing up on AEW TV. But I'm gonna tell you something, and you can tell me y'all can tell me if I'm wrong. Mick Foley stood 10 toes down about something he believes in, and he's taking it to the point where he's like, yeah, if I'm gonna have my last match, it's gonna be in AEW, and I don't see anything wrong with it. What about you?
No, not at all. Not at all. That man has the right to do with his career what he wants to do with his career. He wants to have his last match in AEW. He feels like the locker room in AEW takes him back to a time in WWE that he was fond of. So he likes Tony Khan. He likes some of the guys and gals in the back. He likes being around them. So I mean, he's got a lot of people that he dealt with in WWF and WWE with him. He's got Christian. He's got uh, um, Mike Adam Copeland. He's got a whole bunch of guys. Jericho. So he feels like he's at home, and if they're willing to work with him and let him have the match that he wants to have, which I'm sure Tony Khan will give him carte blanche on whatever he wants to do for his last match, more power to him if that's what he wants to do.
Do you feel the things that they're saying about him selling out? Do you feel? I know you don't feel that way, but do you feel it's warranted to say that he's sold out?
No, he didn't sell out. Why would he? Why would you say he sold out?
That's what I want.
I mean,
Well, they talk as if he's a WWF/E lifer when he's not. He's been in WCW, ECW, TNA, as well as WWF and E. And now he's in AEW. And then not to mention all the promotions he performed with around China. Like he had a world-class match with Vader. It wasn't on United States soil. It wasn't on US soil. That was over in Japan, if I'm not mistaken, when he got his ear ripped off.
yeah, that was part of the what company was that? I can't remember the name of the company, but it was the King of the Death matches back from back in the day. CZW, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, that and started his career starting out in world class and mid Atlantic and early WCW and yeah, it was world class. I mean, that's it, world class already. I want to say he was in AWA for a little bit. So yeah, I mean he's been around. He's been around a lot of different places. He is not a creation of Vince McMahon's. Oh, come on now. You got some explaining to do, Hollywood.
Couple of comments here. Anthony said, KG, I think the hate also comes from a lot of hardcore China fans that feel that her spiral was a result of Triple H cheating on her with Stephanie. I can understand that. I can understand that. Anthony said that's a mistake. The guy can barely walk. I don't want to happen to him to fully what happened to Sabu, or he basically died in the ring because he's refusing to retire.
Well, that's what a lot of these guys want to do. I mean, you got guys like Flair, you got guys like Sabu, like you said. You got a lot of guys who want to die in the ring. They would prefer to die in the ring. They want to die doing what they love doing. I mean, you know, nobody said anything to Flair when he had 2 heart attacks during his last match, their last so-called match. You know, and which wasn't even his last match because he wound up wrestling in Puerto Rico a week later. So I mean, nobody said anything to Flair about that, and he could have actually died in the ring,
right?
So you know that, and not to mention, you got what's his name? Paul White. Paul White wrestling in AEW, standing up at the top of the ramp, getting ready for a match. Crooked, looking like a Z from the Kiss logo.
Yeah,
I mean, it's crazy.
They show him walking through a airport, and I mean, he always had like a gait, but man, now you know he had both his hips replaced too.
Exactly, yeah.
So Hollywood said, "I love Mick, but he's a hypocrite." Yeah, please give me an explanation. Hopefully, let me scroll down. I might have an explanation there. But you talk about people, if I'm not mistaken, Iron Mike DiBiase actually said that he wanted to die in the ring, and he wound up dying in the ring. It's a lot of wrestlers like, if I'm gonna die with my boots on.
Right.
Looking up at the lights. A lot of them say that. Anthony says, fan of Mick, I feel that's a mistake, him getting back inside the ring. The guy can barely walk. I don't want to happen to him what happened to Sabu. I mean, if that's his choice, that's his choice. And matter of fact, he just had hip replacement not too long ago, but look at what he put his body through. He's put his body through more than a lot of other people. Because him taking that hardcore style and the punishment and the beatings that he took, the beating he took from The Rock, what was that, 19 chair shots?
At least.
And he said, I'm not going to stop until the son of a bitch says I quit. And I'll be damned if he do. And he handcuffed him and smacked him over the head 19 times. When he finally said I quit, it wasn't him saying I quit because he was unconscious. They had to play a recording of him saying I quit. If you've never seen the documentary Beyond the Mat, go watch it. Go watch Beyond the Mat. His wife and his children were sitting there watching him get bludgeoned to death. My wife, Lovey, would you sit there and watch me take 19 chair shots for the World Wrestling Federation Championship?
I don't care about none of that. By the time he got to the 4th chair shot, I'm in the ring.
See? I'm not allowed to take 19 chair shots.
19.
Four is extreme. I mean, those weren't no like chair shots. I mean,
no, he was heavy. Rock was heavy-handed that night.
Those were straight up, no unadulterated headshots. I mean, he would four from a normal head chair shot, maybe. You better jump if you my wife. You better jump in on probably number 2. In that scenario, you might 2 pushing 3.
And Hollywood said he definitely sold out. LOL. The Cons are one of Trump's biggest donors. They were one of the teams that said we are not signing Colin Kaepernick. Mick tripping. I respect him for standing up, but no.
Okay.
I get that.
I can respect your opinion on that.
Because you know what? what's his name? Shad Khan. That's Tony Daddy.
Right.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, and when they came out, and locked arms, and because they were overseas at the time, they were in London, and they came out and they had the Jaguars all take a knee, and everybody took a knee. And I said, "Oh, look at this performative bullshit. Y'all gonna take a knee this week and then say, you know what, we good. Y'all gonna forget all about it next week." Then, as much as I love Ray Lewis, he came out there and took 2 knees. I said, "What the hell is he doing?" I digress. But I'm not mad at Mick whatsoever. WWE is WWE. But I do agree with Hollywood. I mean, you can't go from Dracula to Frankenstein and say, well, I'm safe. I mean, you know, you can't do that. But maybe, just maybe, Tony promised him a last match, but TKO was like, nah, we're not going to do it.
Maybe.
Could be a reason.
Maybe that could be a reason. I mean, Mick Foley has never really had a retirement.
No,
not really. So if he's gonna have a last match on his terms, what better place to do it? I mean, he could go back to TNA. I'm sure TNA would take him back with open arms. He could probably go up to MLW in Canada, Maple Leaf Wrestling. I'm sure Scott D'Amore would be happy to work with him on something. But the bigger audience would be AEW. The bigger way to go out would be AEW. Now, who he's gonna have his last match with? That's gonna be the thing. Would he do a rematch with Adam Copeland? Another hardcore match with Adam Copeland? Would he do something with MJF and let MJF take him out? I mean, who knows?
I know. All right. Pull my coat and follow me on this one. Picture it. You leading up to an AEW pay-per-view. But before that, the last show before the pay-per-view, you find out somehow, some way, you got to get The Rock to do this. So you got to get permission from TKO so he can go out on top. Instead of him doing The Rock, This Is Your Life, they do Mick Foley, This Is Your Life. And they kind of flip the script on it, give him that moment. While everybody's laughing and loving this whole segment, you get Darby Allin out there to break it up. And then that starts it. And then all of a sudden you got your storyline right there. Darby Allin say, come this Sunday, I'm going to retire you. And they have themselves a 15-minute bomb burner. I'm talking curtain jerker and everything. It just sold out the curtain.
So you're going to turn Darby Allin heel.
Maybe he'll get more TV time. But, I mean, only other person that could do it, only other person in all of wrestling that could do it, I would say Randy Orton. Bring back the Legend Killer. Because when he was in that whole Legend Killer thing, we didn't really get the payoff between him and Mick Foley. But Randy going to have to take some serious bumps because, I mean, we talking, 15, 16 years of heat?
Now, you're talking about Randy Orton going to AEW.
I'm saying that's the only other person that could do it. But no, if we got to do an AEW, I mean,
think about it. Think about it now. In order for this to be pulled off, you're gonna have to have a heel. You're gonna have to turn. You have to turn somebody heel, or you're gonna have to have a heel go after it. because Foley is going to be a face regardless. They're going to be cheering for Foley. So you got somebody there that's the biggest heel in wrestling right now. That's from Long Island, New York, that can relate to Mick Foley in a younger way, he has a younger version who has experience in hardcore matches that would love nothing more than to take Mick Foley's career and add it to his collection. Why not make it MJF?
I got nothing. You right.
He says, yeah, when growing up, I used to go by your house all the time. I knew exactly where you lived, in that dump of a house that you used to live in. I see why you jumped off that roof, because I mean, you probably went through it before you went off of it. You know, all kinds of just talking all kinds of junk about it.
See, how long of a build would you give this? Would you give this a 30-day build, 60 days?
I give it a slow burn over time. You know, because he's already talking about him. He's already mentioned him a few times. So just make it a slow burn to the point where, you know, there's nothing. There's a pay-per-view coming up. Like, what's the one that they do back at the end of the year? I can't think of the one they do at the end of the year. It's not All In. All In will be in August.
Hold on, I got you. Where we at? 2026. You got Revolution Dynasty. Double or Nothing is coming up. What was just back on the 24th.
Yeah, they just did Double or Nothing. All In is in London on August 30th.
World's End in December.
Okay.
And then you got Full Gear. They did Wrestle Dream last year. All Out. For
all either Full Gear or All Out.
And I just want to say
either one of those two. And you know, it doesn't even have to be a title match. It just be like, look, I just want to put you out of your misery. Since Adam Copeland couldn't do it, since Jericho couldn't do it, nobody seems to be able to do it. I'm going to be the one to do it. And then he can incorporate Mark Briscoe into it, since, you know, he's about the closest thing to Big Foley right now in this generation. And he's already doing a lot of Mick Foley's moveset.
Two things. I have not gotten a check for Forbidden Door. I'm still waiting on a check for Forbidden Door. I don't know who I need to talk to, but I want my check for Forbidden Door. That's all I'm saying. I want my check.
Talk to Tony Khan.
He got enough money to air condition. Hell, he can break me off my goddamn money.
Exactly, yeah. No, why not?
Like, dude, if you can't break me off my money, hey, your daddy break me a check. Somebody need to write me a goddamn check. You stole my idea. You half-assed it, and then you called it a pay-per-view. I fleshed that idea out back in 2018. And you did it 7 years after I fleshed it out, and you half-assed it and messed it up. All you had to do was call me. But again, Tony Khan, AEW, Forbidden Door, I want my check. Clip that. I want that to be a real. I want my check. I fleshed all of that out long before you even thought about it. I had it already laid it all out, and it's on wax. Number 2, favorite Mick Foley move of yours?
Favorite, my favorite move of his out of his move set.
Yep.
Probably have to be him jumping off the apron, the bang bang off the apron into the elbow on the floor. I've always liked that one.
I got 2. Number 2, it's a move set that he had. It was a move that he had. This was late 90s. He stopped using it. It wasn't his move, but it was a move that he used. The Tree of Woe was always one of my favorites. For those that don't know, you take your opponent, you set them in the corner, you lock their legs under the turnbuckle, and you hang them upside down, and you kick the shit out of them. First, number 1 favorite all-time move by any Mick Foley variation, the underarm double hook, the double hook underarm DDT. That right there, because it's not like a normal DDT. You kind of fall down to the side, and it always looks sweet to me. Like I
many
didn't
people
mind
have used variations of that, though. I mean, yeah. I mean, Foley uses it. Moxley uses it. Drew McIntyre uses it. Who else? So many people that use that. Yeah.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Foley was the last one to use it as a finisher.
No.
Moxley
used it as a finisher. Remember, he called it Dirty Deeds.
Absolutely right.
And Drew McIntyre, that's the Future Shock DDT.
Okay. Because I remember this will bring it back to the first topic. When they had the triple threat, Triple H versus Mankind versus Stone Cold. I believe that was SummerSlam 1999. Yep. That was SummerSlam 1999. And Triple H had hit Stone Cold with the pedigree, went for the pin. Mankind broke it up, picked up Stone Cold, dropped him with the double arm DDT, pinned him, won the championship. Then on Monday night, when we used to have true after pay-per-view Monday Night Raws, we were a proper society. We lived like kings and queens. He came out. He gave his promo. Triple H came out, brung JR in the ring, told him he better get a rematch. So he snapped JR's arm. Mankind told him, you broke his arm, you get no rematch. Who comes to save the day? His good old pal Shane McMahon. That Monday Night Raw, Triple H wins his first title. That Thursday, however, we had a premiere of a TV show for wrestling that is still running to this day. It was on a Thursday, and it was called SmackDown. It was the first official episode of SmackDown. And Triple H and The Rock got into it to start the show. Shawn Michaels was a special guest referee for the main event, which was Triple H versus The Rock. The Rock had him beat, get ready to drop the people's elbow, most electrifying move in sports entertainment today. And that son of a bitch, HBK, hits him with the super kick. Triple H gets the 1, 2, 3, keeps the title. That was storytelling. That's when we had what happened on Sunday, carried over into Monday, then carried over into Thursday, and it might carry over into Shotgun Saturday Night on Saturday. And it was just a revolving loop. You just kept going. But I long for simpler times in wrestling. Hollywood said your reasoning for saying you're leaving WWE is because there's support for Trump. Then you can't go to another company that is in competition that supports the same man. Like, nah, I see through you. And he said, because TKO don't want the blood on their hands, that's why. And why would they? I mean, I think every star that has been around as long as Mick Foley has had a 40-year career with no true farewell tour. I think a farewell tour for him would be good. And then once his final match is over, you know he's gonna be in sweatpants and New Balance or some Nikes, you know, the dad Nikes. You take them off and leave him in the ring. And if he decides to perform as Mankind, he leaves the mask in the ring, and that's it. 40-year career, we close the book on. He's already a Hall of Famer, rightfully so. But I think that's how you close the book.
Now he ain't gonna be able to do Mankind or Dude Love. It's Cactus Jack, yes. Because Cactus Jack has always been his, and that might be debatable because back in those days, WWE would say, you know, we're going to give you so much money, and we're going to own the IP on that too. So they may own the IP for Cactus Jack. So he may just be Mick Foley coming into that match.
I think that is probably one of the trashiest practices in the game. If I came up with my own persona, I came up with my own name, scheme, everything. I part ways from the company because my contract is up. I'm not, I feel I want more money. I deserve more money. I'm not getting more money, but I go somewhere. Oh, you can go, but the name stays home. My daddy blood on that name. That's what it feels like. It feels like you just dealing with Ike Turner.
I mean, that's the way it was back then. Wrestlers have gotten hip to it now. I mean, that's why you have a lot of wrestlers who end up changing their name when they go to WWE because they don't want WWE having access to or having ownership of that IP because they got nothing to go back to when they leave.
And Hollywood said, yeah, I agree. If he does have a last match, it should be MJF. It would be a big boost to MJF on a mainstream level as well. But, I mean, I think MJF is big when it comes to mainstream. I mean, he was in Happy Gilmore 2. Was he in Fighting With My Family?
What, the Page story?
Yeah.
No.
He was in something else.
He's been in a few things. He's in something. He's just got done doing something recently. So he got something else coming out. So yes. And they're talking about doing another Happy Gilmore. He's supposed to be in that too. So
Happy Gilmore 2. He was in Iron Claw. That's what he was in. He was in the Iron Claw.
He was in Iron Claw?
Yep.
I missed that. I don't remember him being in Iron Claw.
Because I looked at the cast and it was like MJF. I was like, MJF what? I watched that movie 2 or 3 times, but he was actually in it.
Maybe he was one of the wrestlers in there, maybe he was one of the wrestlers wrestling one of the Von Erichs. And I didn't notice it.
But not to change subjects about anything. I like the movie. I just hate that they condensed it so much. I would rather that have been a 3-hour movie than you try to condense it so much.
And they left a lot out.
He was Lance Von Erich, yeah.
Oh, he was Lance?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll have to go back and watch it.
Now, that's a movie I would watch more than once because it was good, but it's just that you like, damn, it's something missing, and you figure out what's missing, and you like, shit.
Oh yeah, it's plenty missing in that movie, but it is what it is. I mean, like you said, they had to condense it all into 2 hours, and
this is why I feel that certain movies shouldn't be theatrical. If you were to do a movie on The Undertaker, a movie on The Rock, Mick Foley, you couldn't do that in 2 hours. You couldn't do that in an hour and 40. That would have to be damn near NBC, either like the Jacksons and American Dream or the Temptations. You got to put that into 2 hour parts so you can try to fit everything into it. We're talking longevity here.
Hell, they did a documentary on A&E recently, and that was what, 2 days.
See, you get away with more on TV, but I don't think you would do anything on The Rock though, because I mean we had Young Rock, and Young Rock it had some spots that wasn't accurate, but
yeah, a lot of spots that wasn't accurate. That's why I didn't watch it. That's why I watched about maybe 2 episodes, and I was like, yeah, you can have this.
I tried to get you to watch that so bad because I was like, I can't ask you the questions like, yo, I don't remember this. Did this happen like this?
And you could have asked me, and I would have told you no. It did not happen like that.
Well, it was several parts that was just like, okay. Anthony said, KG, I feel Foley is kind of a hypocrite. He knew half the people he was working with in WWE or MAGA, and he was okay with taking their money. He can't act all principled now, acting like he was 10 toes down against these people, against what these people were doing. I mean, sometimes people have.
Look. It is what it is. I mean, all these people that we're talking about are rich. These are wealthy people, and MAGA and Trump and MAGA supporters, they are rich people because everything that's going down with everything Trump is bringing about is to benefit rich people. So I mean, it is what it is. Like you can't get around it. I mean, Tony Khan in this case was the lesser of two evils. And like Hollywood said, they didn't want to give Mick Foley a final match because they didn't want to take a chance on what the outcome could be. Tony Khan he's all about it, you know. So let the man go out like he wants to go out. Let the man go out. Let the man have his last match. You know.
Yeah.
I don't call him a hypocrite because he went from one MAGA MAGA supporter to another. You can't get around stuff like that. Probably everybody in wrestling is a MAGA supporter in some way because they got money. They got money, and they're benefiting from a lot of the stuff that MAGA's putting out.
True indeed. Just to give an update, Scooter said happy birthday, Sumo. He wanted to check in before and say hi before in between Stanley Cup periods. And speaking of Stanley Cup, Vegas is up 4-0 after 2 periods. We're at the end of the second right now, going into the third. Carolina got to fight back tonight, baby. Got to fight back.
They need something. They're making this one too close.
Yeah. Hollywood said no, he's not. He's not big mainstream. If he was WWE right now, he would be the 15th to 20th guy in popularity wise. He's not there yet. He's getting through. He's getting there though.
Would be 15th or 20th because he would not be MJF.
I think they would water him down in WWE. We talked about that a while back. I think they water him down.
You would not recognize MJF in WWE. He would not be what he is now, which is why he's not going to WWE. If he goes to WWE, it's going to be at the end of his career when he's going to be like, "Fuck it, I'm just going to get this retirement money." And I know when I go, I'm gonna get paid. You'll see MJF around his 40s, like late 30s, early 40s, going to WWE and be like, "Okay, All right, let me go on over here and get them to cut me a check for a few years. Then I'll go ahead and shut it down.
Now I'm gonna ask an honest question. With that philosophy, look at AJ Styles. As great as AJ Styles was in WWE, I feel like we didn't see the real AJ Styles in WWE. We saw a version, but we didn't see the real AJ Styles because they watered him down. Do you agree with that?
I can agree with that.
Because that dude that I saw on Saturdays in TNA when I used to watch all my wrestling back, and I was like, yeah, he is something way out of this world.
Like you said, it's like he said himself. You know, he's telling Triple H. He's telling Triple H. You know, these new guys coming in, they need to be in the NXT for at least 6 months before they make the main roster, regardless of who they are, because they need to learn the WWE style. He says, I came into the main roster fresh out of Japan, and I didn't know what I was doing for the first year because the style is different. So you didn't see AJ's the true. You didn't see a true AJ Styles in WWE. No, you didn't. But anybody that's coming into WWE that was not a WWE product, you're not going to see their true version.
Anthony said, KG, I'll play devil's advocate with AJ with the AJ thing. By the time AJ signed to the contract, he's already 25 years in his career, and the style he wrestles wears people down a lot quicker. I mean, he was a high flyer in TNA. What was it, X Division champion? He made the X Division.
He was the X Division.
Him and Suicide. Did we ever find out who Suicide was?
Suicide was a lot of people.
Okay.
Suicide,
I always wondered, did we ever find out?
There was a lot of people. There was a lot of people under that mask. A lot of different people under that mask.
Like Doink the Clown.
Yeah, it was what? Three incarnations of Doink?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because let me see. You got Frankie Kazarian, Chris Sabin, Austin, what's his name? I can't think of his name, but he was world champion for a while. He's the one who came up with option C. And then who else? TJ Perkins.
Mm-hmm.
The guy who was the artist formerly known as Prince Ikea, I believe he was one of them. Michael Shane, yes, thank you, Anthony. It was a few of them. It was a few of them.
I'm looking at. I had to pull it up. Frankie Kazarian, Christopher Daniels, Akira Regime. Correct me, please. Kazuchika Okada.
Kazuchika Okada.
Mm-hmm.
Okada was Suicide
Yep.
one time. Wow. Okay.
Austin Aries.
That's what I was thinking of. Austin Aries. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know Gresham was Suicide. Jonathan Gresham.
Yeah.
Caleb Conley. Zachary Wentz, and Crazy Steve.
Yeah.
Suicide was a beast, man. But and he said for me, the faces of the X Division with Joe, Frank Kazarian, Michael, Shane, AJ, and both Motor City Machine Guns.
You forgetting one, and I almost wore his shirt tonight. Christopher Daniels. Christopher Daniels was up there too. So yeah, it's a lot of, when it comes to the X Division. what was his name? What was his name? Elix Skipper. Elix Skipper was a mainstay in the X division back in the day too. For those that are TNA fans that don't remember him, he's the one that whenever they start showing the Ultimate X videos, he's the one that walked across the top of the cage and then did the forward flip into the Hurricane Rana
Yep.
on the floor on the mat. Yeah, Elix Skipper was a bad boy.
I'm looking at the X Division run. AJ Styles is your first champion. Chris Sabin had the most reigns. Longest reign was Austin Aries and Leon Slater for 298 days. Shortest reign, Eric Young, Chris Sabin, and Rockstar Spud, less than a day. Oldest champion was Frankie Kazarian. Youngest champion, Leon Slater. Heaviest champion, Abyss. And lightest champion, Rockstar Spud. X Division was just, it was something that nobody else was doing what they were doing.
It was an open weight division. I mean, a lot of people like to try to make it a cruiserweight division, but it wasn't. It was. That's what they kept saying. It was a no limits division, especially when they started putting in Samoa Joe into that division. You know, they opened it up to just about anybody, which made it even more so once AJ Styles started getting ready to leave to go to Japan. So yeah, the X Division revolutionized that type of that style. That was a style of its own. You know, you had the Ultimate X. You had that highlighted pretty much the X Division, and then there was another match that they had. I can't think of the name of it, but it was a cage match that they used to have for the X Division a lot. That's where the Felix Skipper highlight came from. So yeah, the X Division was something else when it came to the identity of TNA, because that's what put TNA on the map. That and the 6-sided ring.
Right.
Nobody was doing the 6-sided ring in the United States other than TNA.
And the only reason why they stopped that was, didn't Hogan stop that when he came over and had creative control?
Yeah, they came up when Hogan and Bischoff came over. They got rid of the 6-sided ring. But a lot of guys were saying that they wanted to get rid of the 6-sided ring because it was difficult as far as angles to run the ropes, and coming off of the ropes like they usually do is a little harder to work the 6-sided ring than it was on a regular 4-sided ring. So, you know, I don't know if that was for better or for worse, but I enjoyed the 6-sided ring myself because it was different.
I definitely did. I mean, we talk about it all the time as far as TNA. I think that was one of the things that took TNA down a peg, because they were on the rise up. That took them down a peg, but Dixie Carter taking over and then running everything into the ground. You had a tag team division that was stacked. But then on top of that, you had the working relationship with New Japan. Because the New Japan tag titles were defended on TNA TV. And I remember when the Dudleys had the TNA tag titles, New Japan, I think they had three, they were holding 3 titles at one time. In 3 different promotions. They were defending them all on TNA. Like, if you beat them, you got all 3 titles. And I was like, yeah, this is something that you've never seen before. Now, I will say that
well, you have seen it.
We have?
Yeah. They used to do that. They used to do that a lot in the older days, because you had the Road Warriors who had the IWGP titles with the NWA World titles. the Steiners had the IWGP titles with the NWA World Tag titles. Did the Miracle, what they call themselves? Miracle Death Connection. Dr. Death Steve Williams and Bam Bam Terry Gordy. They had the IWGP titles and came over to the United States and was defending them over here. The IWGP tag titles made a lot of appearances in the United States back in the late 80s, early 90s.
The Miracle Violence Connection.
Miracle Violence Connection, yeah.
And see, I didn't know that. You just put me on something new right there. I didn't know that.
Those are some bad boys too. That tag team they were nasty. I mean, they were the two of them together was just off the chain.
I mean, you got two of the roughest wrestlers in history now. But I didn't know that New Japan was coming over on American TV like that back then.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why New Japan had their relationship with WCW, because it started in the NWA. You had a lot of guys who were going over to Japan to wrestle for New Japan out of the NWA, Mid Atlantic and the area. Flair was going over there all the time as a champion. So, and I don't know if you remember, but it was around the time when Flair was on his way back around 91, about after he won the WWE title. He left WWE and came back. He had the belt with him. He still had the big gold with him. Called himself the real world champion. But if you looked at it over in Japan, you had Sting, who was wrestling for the NWA International Championship, which was another version, another title that they had along with the World Championship, wrestling against Ravishing Rick Rude. And Rude wound up winning the belt from Sting over there, and it was some kind of way he cheated to win it, and they wanted to give the belt back to Sting, and he's like, I don't want the belt that way, and he wound up winning the belt from him in a later match. That's when they had the match between Sting and Flair to see who was the real world heavyweight champion. They unified the NWA International Championship with the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, and it just was big gold. And Flair wound up winning it when he came back. So,
see that right there? That's a history lesson, because I didn't know that at all. I did not know that. Thank you.
Yeah, that's how they brought Flair back in. That's how they wound up bringing Flair back in, because remember, Flair left WCW without losing the belt. He brought the belt over to WWE or WWF at the time, and they had it blurred out, the whole thing. I'm the real world champion. They wound up stopping using the big gold. They wound up sending Big Gold back, and they still had him wearing a belt that was pixeled out. Do you know what belt they wound up using?
What's that?
The belt that was actually pixeled out. When they sent Big Gold back to the WCW, he still had a belt that was being pixeled out.
What belt was it?
It was the World Tag Team Championship. It was one of the World Tag Team Championships that the old one, the one that British Bulldogs and the old school one. That one. They took one of those belts and gave it to Flair and had him use that and wear that, and then they pixeled it out on television. So if you actually went to a show and saw Flair, you saw Flair wearing that belt, but on television it was pixeled out, so you didn't know what belt it was.
Okay. Now, see, you giving out history lessons tonight. Because I didn't know none of what you just said. All of that's new. So, damn. I'm a little stuck here, so I apologize. What was that you just gave me? What was that? Oh, she just made a homemade tortilla chip, and it was good as hell.
Oh, okay.
Like, wow, that was fantastic. Thank you. You got more? I'm gonna need more.
What, you doing tortilla chips instead of Hot Pockets today?
Oh, see, well, yeah, we ain't got no Hot Pockets. I think we all out of Hot Pockets. So, we got anything else to come? We had an hour and 20. See, I knew we could do it.
Yeah, Don who?
Oh man. Now this is the original home of Wrap That Shit Up, B. We got anything else to cover before we roll out of this thing?
Well, let's see what's coming up here. You got the King of the Ring going on right now. We got to see what's going on with that. You got your Owen Hart tournament that's coming up. That's in the semifinals. You had your wild card in the women's on the women's side that went up against Alex Windsor this past Wednesday, and of course it was Mercedes Moné making her return. So she wound up winning her match. That's building up. You got which one did you say was coming up? Not Double or Nothing. That we just had that one. It's not All In. That's on the 30th. It's another one. Oh, Forbidden Door.
Yeah,
Forbidden Door is coming up on the 28th. So got to check that out.
Speaking of checks, I want my check for I want my goddamn money.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Tekla in that, because Tekla's making a big deal about Stardom being included, and she was fired from Stardom after attacking the owner of Stardom, and that which led her coming to AEW. And you got two Stardom wrestlers that are going to be wrestling in their Owen Hart tournament matches on Wednesday. So it'll be interesting to see if Tekla gets involved in any of those matches. Let's see. I'm not sure what's going on in the Indies right now. I haven't really been hearing too much about anything going on in the Indies worth mentioning here recently. But yeah, it's a lot going on as far as AEW and WWE is concerned. So just have to look at what's going on with them and keep up with that.
Let me ask you a question. Pick your brain a little bit before we get out of here. I'm looking at this. It says the King and Queen of the Ring, the winner will earn a world title shot at SummerSlam in August. But the format begins with the Fatal 4-Way quarterfinals, followed by a singles match in the semifinals and the finals. I love that they brought King of the Ring back. But did King of the Ring always earn you a title shot? Mm-mm. Number one. Number two, it seems as though they forgot that this is a pay-per-view. The whole entire tournament is a pay-per-view. And it seems that they've forgotten that.
Yeah, because they haven't really done anything with it. I mean, you remember it was Xavier Woods who was the quarterback and trying to bring that back because he wanted to be king of the ring, and so he wound up doing everything that he could do to get it brought back, and they made him king of the ring. But what happened? He didn't even get a title shot. So this is a recent thing that they've been doing with the title shot thing. I mean, this is supposed to be the 25th anniversary of King of the Ring. So that's why they got the four-man format, the quarterfinals as the four-way format going into the singles matches. So I mean, yeah, we'll have to see what's going on because right now I think right now the only semifinal that they have right now guaranteed is Obafemi versus Dominic Mysterio. I think we know where that's going to go.
Well, yeah, we definitely know where that's going to go. That's no doubt. And I'm looking at this. They saying the finals are scheduled to take place at Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia on the 27th.
Right.
I know if Perry watching this, I know he gonna tell me my grass is turning brown, get off my lawn. But I gotta say it. Number one, we're having entirely too many pay-per-views or PLEs, whatever you want to call them, in Saudi Arabia, but you're combining King of the Ring with Night of Champions. Night of Champions is supposed to focus on champions. Every belt's supposed to be defended on that pay-per-view. Every single belt. That's your card. Nothing more, nothing less. But now you want to put the King of the Ring finals on Night of Champions for what? That should have been, if you didn't want to do it, I think they should make King of the Ring, just because they don't do it with the main roster the right way. This is just my opinion. Make King of the Ring a NXT pay-per-view. And we get that on the Sunday or Saturday or something in the middle of the month, and we get the whole entire King of the Ring tournament that day. King and Queen of the Ring, right then and there. So we got a 3-4 hour show, King of the Ring, and leave it at that. Because you are not doing this thing justice.
Well, see, that's the thing. They're not doing that. They're not going to do that because I mean, their pay-per-views only like what 5, maybe 6 matches now. They're not doing those super shows like that. And for you to have now, if they did a maybe 8-person tournament, that's what 4 matches to start going into 4 matches to start going into a semifinal and then a final. So that's 7 matches in one night. That could be done on one for men or women, but not both. So, I mean, for them to do it as a one-night tournament, they couldn't do it for both the men and the women, so they're not going to do that. So they're stretching it out like they're doing now because it's just added filler to the shows that they need to do anyway.
Man, your qualified match is supposed to happen on SmackDown and Raw. That's supposed to be your qualifiers. And once you get in the tournament's a whole pay-per-view.
Well, yeah, if you want to do you can do as many shows, you can do as many matches as you want to leading up, and then you could have like maybe the semifinals and the finals for the men and women. That'll be 6 matches.
I wouldn't mind that, but it should have its own standalone. That way, when the King of the Ring and the Queen of the Ring is announced, we get the celebration of it, and we're good because you're supposed to have the celebration. I go back to the same King of the Ring that made Austin who we know. That King of the Ring moment made a mega star. You can make megastars like that too if you give them the opportunity.
That's what the King of the Ring was supposed to be for. It was supposed to put emphasis, put a spotlight on somebody that they knew they wanted to push. I mean, so they're not doing that anymore. I mean, this is like you said, they've now gone to the point where they've made this an opportunity for a belt.
Let's just go ahead and just do away with it. The same way you did Insurrection and what is it? There's a couple of other ones that they did away with that they didn't have to, but it's fine. It's fine. Oh, okay. I'm off my soapbox. I done packed up my chair. I'm not yelling at the clouds anymore. I'm gonna go ahead and ease on back into the house. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching the Saturday Night WrestleManiacs. Please be sure to tune in tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. for the Sunday Rise, starting your week off right. So, in true WrestleManiac fashion, diversify your bonds.
Konnichiwa, bitches.